Hi everyone! Today I'm going to talk about how to do shipping from China to US or Amazon FBA or other countries you want. This will be a general method that you can use. As an importer, there are many considerations when sourcing goods from China. When it comes to shipping, you want your cargo delivery safe, on time, with competitive freight cost. As you can see in this picture here, it describes the basic process of how your cargo from China can be delivered to your destination. Choosing the best delivery option is completely dependent on your unique circumstance. The content today may be a little bit long, but we hope it will give you some helpful ideas about what you should consider when getting your goods back home. We will talk about the following top 3 things about freight transportation to help you with the shipping process. The first thing is which shipping method you can choose. The second thing is which party will manage your shipping. And the third thing is how to make a shipping quote. Let's start with the shipping method. Do you want your goods to be shipped by post, by courier, air, or sea? Which one is the best option for you? As with most business, cost cannot be the only consideration, but it is usually a primary and determining factor. So let's first start with how to calculate the shipping price. There are 2 different weight concepts here. One is actual weight, and the other one is dimensional weight, as shown in this picture here. Actual weight is exactly what the product weighs, including packaging. Dimensional weight takes into account the volume, including length, width, and height of the package that you are shipping. For sea freight, dimensional weight equals to package volume divided by 6,000, while for air freight, dimensional weight equals to package volume divided by 5,000. The billable weight is defined as the greater of the 2 weights, the actual weight versus the dimensional weight, and this will be used to calculate the final shipping rate. Because of this rule, you want to communicate with your supplier and try to package your goods in a best way that has the smallest package volume. If you are looking at ongoing shipments, discuss the packaging options with your supplier. You might be able to seriously cut the freight costs. Different logistics methods can make a vast difference both in transit time and freight charges. Therefore, we always need to determine which method will be the most cost-effective one. Next, I will talk about the most common 4 shipping methods that you can choose. The first one is regular post. This means normal regular China post or Hong Kong post, which can take up to 15 to 35 days to arrive. If you can wait, this is the cheapest option for small shipments like samples and parcels. You may track and trace online, but the information cannot be updated in time. Generally, we don't recommend this way at most times, although it's a very economical method, but it's unsafe and it's hard to find lost packages. This method is usually a good option for drop shipping. The second one is Air Express. Transportation with a courier company will be the most suitable method for most people starting out. Courier company, widely used in China, is company like DHL, UPS, and FedEx. With courier service, you get fast delivery times and an online tracking facility. Most courier shipments take just 3 to 5 business days to arrive in anywhere around the globe. The advantages of choosing express courier is that you can get seamless delivery. All you have to do is sign for the package when it arrives. In most cases, Delivery is quick and reliable. When there's a problem, there's a tracking number that can help you solve the matter. But the disadvantage is that the price is much higher than postal service. The third method is Airfreight. If the weight of the sourced product is too large for couriers, for example like 100 kg, air shipment might be the best bet. With Airfreight, costs will be significantly lower than with courier companies. This way is very suitable for cargo with medium weight, and there are tight deadlines or a tight control on the security. Transit time varies based on the schedule of the airlines, but in general, it ranges between 8 to 10 days, which is not bad. It's worth it to mention here, Airfreight usually has a minimum requirement of the shipping weight. The average cost for Air Express is about $5 to $10 per kilogram, and the shipping time is about 3 to 5 business days, while the average cost for Airfreight is $4 to $8 per kilogram, and the shipping time is about 5 to 10 business days. This figure below is a detailed comparison of the shipping cost of Airfreight and Air Express when shipping from China to the United Kingdom. When your weight is small, the cost for Air Express might be lower. However, when your weight gets larger, the Airfreight starts to show its advantage in cost. But this is just a pure comparison of the cost. When you make your final decision, you need to consider other factors too, especially the shipping time. And the fourth method is sea freight. Transport by ocean can take a very long time, but can carry a massive amount of goods, which drives down the costs. The diversity of cargo that can be shipped is also a major benefit to this mode. That's why it's a popular and widely used mode in logistics. Despite the length of the delivery time, if you plan ahead and have enough time to wait, sea freight will be your top choice. Depending on where you are located, it will be in the vicinity of 30 to 60 days. There are two types of ocean shipping, FCL and LCL, both of which have to do with the cost of shipping and the size of the container used. FCL represents full container load, and LCL represents less container load. Typically, there are different size options when it comes to shipping containers. You can choose different size based on your needs. Depending on the amount you are purchasing from your Chinese supplier, you may fill an entire shipping container or only part of one. When you are using an entire container yourself, you are shipping FCL. See, that makes sense, right? More items equals a full container. Typically, shipping FCL is cheaper by volumetric unit and weight unit. But many importers are not purchasing enough goods to ship FCL. You could try air freight, but the cost is often too high. In this case, LCL is the ideal solution. When shipping LCL, your items share containers with other people's items. In other words, cargo from multiple buyers ends up in the same container. If we compare these two different types, FCL can bring you a lot of benefits. It is easier to track FCL directly through the shipping company's website. That way, you can predict its arrival with accuracy. Also, under FCL, your items will be safer. FCL means that your items will not be mixed with other shipments. There will be less risk of your cargo being damaged or getting lost since fewer people will be handling it. FCL can also be processed faster because your shipment will be the only one that will be loaded into a container. Under LCL, the shipment will be consolidated with others first. And last thing, as mentioned earlier, FCL is cheaper when the cost is broken down per unit. But ultimately, your choice of FCL or LCL will hinge upon how much you are shipping. You can choose FCL or LCL as you wish, but here there's a basic rule you should follow. If your cargo size is between 1 cubic meter to 8 cubic meter, choose LCL. If your cargo size is between 8 cubic meter to 15 cubic meter, choose FCL or LCL based on practical situation. If your cargo size is over 15 cubic meter, choose FCL without any hesitation. Okay, so now we have talked about 4 different shipping methods, and for all these methods we have talked about, each of them has its own combination of base and variable costs. Shipping modes with a lower base cost are cheaper for smaller shipments, while shipping modes with lower variable weight costs are the cheaper options for larger shipments, even if they start out with a high base cost. To better help you choose the most appropriate shipping method, here is a table that lists the comparison of the shipping cost for different weight for your reference. So this table is for illustrative purpose only, and the figures are roughly correlated with the current China freight cost. As you can see, the green squares shows which mode is the cheapest method for each shipment. As you can see, if you have a larger shipping weight, like over 100 kg, sea freight LCL can save you some money, and FCL is the most economical way for really large shipping weight. Of course here, you didn't consider the time cost. This is just a pure comparison of the shipping cost, assuming you didn't consider the shipping time. But we all know time is always money. So you need to find your own balance between time and price, especially when your goods just have a medium weight. Here, I want to share with you a strategy used by some merchants, especially startup Amazon sellers. What they do is have a small portion of their cargo, say 5% to 10%, shipped via air freight, and the rest is shipped by sea. That way, they can have a small volume available in their stores for sale to make money, even as the rest of the items are in transit. Now, after we have a basic understanding of all different shipping methods, let's talk about how to manage your shipment. Do you prefer to manage it by yourself or by an agent? There are 4 different ways that you can consider here. The first option is to let the supplier manage the shipping. Letting the supplier manage shipping is common among inexperienced importers. It's very simple, and all you need to do is to tell the supplier that you want them to ship the cargo as CIF, the port of destination, or DAP, your facility address, and they will do the rest. The downside of this option is that you will probably end up paying a bit more than really needed. You can also consider the second way, to do it all internally for full control. Your time is most valuable. When you work directly with a carrier, you cannot save that time, unless there's a specialized department with professional crews in your company. So we don't think this is a viable option for small and medium enterprises. The third option is to work with a freight forwarder in your country for convenience. This is perhaps the most convenient option for some of the importers. So what happens is this. Small and medium companies try to work with a freight forwarder of the right size, but most of the forwarders don't always have their own office in China. They usually work with local agents and add their margin on top of that agent's fee. So although it may be the most convenient way, but this is not a cheap option and not so efficient. Therefore, the first option you can consider is to work with a freight forwarder based in China for speed. More and more importers have chosen this option. The advantage is speed. The forwarder can keep close touch with your supplier and keep you informed everything. When trouble happens, your local partner will solve that as soon as possible. Okay, let's move next. After you find a freight forwarder, how to contact them to get a quote for price. The first thing you need to do here at this stage is that you must familiarize yourself with shipping Incoterms. Incoterms are trade terms which are used internationally for determining where and when the cargo will be transferred. Always be sure to tell your supplier or freight forwarder what Incoterm you want when getting a shipping code like FOB Shanghai. Otherwise, you may end up paying way more than you expected. Some commonly used Incoterms are FOB, EXW, CIF, and DDP, and we have another video explaining all different Incoterms in details, so we won't talk about more here today. If you are interested, check out our other video. Okay, let's go back to the topic here. The next thing you need to know is what do you need to get a shipping quotation. Freight forwarders require the following information before they can provide a quotation. And one thing I want to point out here is the freight quote you get normally does not include duty and tax. So be sure to have this information prepared when you ask for a shipping quote. As such, the final freight cost can only be confirmed once the products are manufactured and packed. But you can still get a pretty good estimation by providing these information to your freight forwarder. After you get the quotation and you make a decision on a freight forwarder that you want to work with, now what you have to do will be only focused on preparing all the shipping documents needed at your country border. This may include a commercial invoice, packing list, certifications of the products, and other optional documents for the customs. Among this, I want to talk a little bit more about the bill of lading and airway bill. Let's say you successfully contacted your freight forwarder and they completed all the process needed for air or sea freight and get your shipments on board. You will get a bill of lading for the carrier or airway bill. The bill of lading is issued by an ocean carrier to acknowledge the receipt of cargo for shipment, and the airway bill is the receipt issued by the airline. I want to mention this here is because if you haven't made a full payment to your supplier, they could hold this bill of lading until you paid in full. In this case, you cannot clear your goods since your freight forwarder needs this bill of lading to do this clearance. An overall suggestion here is, when you are shipping from China, one of the things you should always spend time doing is to conduct a comprehensive consultation with China freight forwarder. They are logistics experts, and their expertise can help you avoid pitfalls. Shipping consultants can provide you with the most important advice that guides you through the steps to complete all shipping processes and help you reducing the shipping costs. Okay, the last section I will talk about is about shipping insurance. You want to decide whether you need insurance, and if so, how to calculate the insurance fee. The purchase of appropriate insurance when importing goods from China is strongly recommended to all importers. Cargo insurance is one of the most popular ones. Shipping insurance is cheap, and the typical cost will be around $50 to $100. Normally, shipping insurance only covers the value of the cargo in case of transportation damage. It will not cover lost sales or product development costs. Usually, you can ask your freight forwarder for the insurance option, but here is a rough equation that you can use to estimate the insurance cost by yourself. Typically, it will be the value of goods times 1.1 times 0.1% to 0.3%. This is not the exact equation used by every forwarder, it's just something for a quick reference. Ask your freight forwarder for the final price. The rate for such insurance is usually calculated from the value of the goods, the kind of cargo, and from the transport route. Again, talk to your freight forwarder to confirm all these details. Alright, that's all we have for today. And we will see you in our next video.